Let's discuss. Hey everyone, it's Rachel back again with another video, and today I'm going to check out a new single from Dying Wish called Path to Your Grave. It is another new single taken from their upcoming album Symptoms of Survival, which will be out on November 3rd. The last single they did, Lost in the Fall, I have avoided. I will save that for my full album listen. But seeing this one come out, I wanted to check this one out as well because I've really been digging the sound they have in their last few releases, including the first single off of this album. I wanted to hear another new song from them. So that's what I'll be doing today. I'll link the music video I'll be using off of Sharp Tone's channel in the description of this video, as well as pre-orders for the album. All the support links for the band, all that good stuff, information related to Dying Wish will be in the description. Other than that, I'm going to stop talking and we are going to get straight into it. Okay, I'm feeling the riffs. Got some riffs going. Woo. Oh. Ooh, yeah, I like that a lot. Oh. Ooh. I'm a big fan of this chorus. Oh. Oh. Dying Wish, Path to Your Grave. Let's discuss. This is probably my favorite song that they've done all together. I love everything about this track. With Dying Wish, something that's really cool is there is an obvious amount of influence, like that early 2000s, 2005, 2008 metalcore. But at the same time, you can pick them out of a lineup and identify that it's Dying Wish. It doesn't feel dated. It doesn't feel like they're doing something that doesn't work for me right now, especially with this being probably my favorite track that they've ever done. The chorus on it is huge. It has a lot of those like nostalgia itching style riffs, but they're still refreshing feeling, if that makes sense. As soon as that first big riff kicks in the beginning of the song, you get that feeling from it. It does not let up throughout the track. I think the transition into that final chorus is another huge moment on this song for me. The outro of the song with those, the moments where the vocals come to like their most aggressive point. I love the heaviest parts of them, but this chorus works for me incredibly well also. The dynamic between the chorus and the verses, it just works extremely well for me. I think this pieces together very well. The whole crowd of people that as soon as they hear any sort of singing in any track with screaming, they're like, oh, I loved this up until the cleans, they ruined it for me, the cleans. Of course, there will probably be some commentary like that, but overall, I think what I've seen about Emma's vocals and the singing in Dying Wish has been more positive than a lot of bands who are as heavy as the heaviest parts of Dying Wish, or really just how heavy they are overall. But it's the most accepting approach I've seen to a band that's, comparable to Dying Wish doing something like that. And I think for good reason. This track has a huge chorus on it. The final moment of the chorus for me, that last vocal note, it's just, it taps into somewhere different than a lot of the song. But I think when you look at the lyrics of the song and such, it helps drive the lyrical content, the message from the lyrics in a much different way than the rest of the track does. The low and slow moments are also a bit of contrast compared to like those faster riffs I'm talking about that have almost a nostalgic feel to them, but they nostalgic fresh. If that were like some hybrid, that is what I would slap on this. I would give that to Static Dress in a, they scratch a much different itch for me than Dying Wish does. But it has that, like, another band would be Psycho Frame. These are bands that are tapping into different nostalgic points for me, but have that, like, fresh feeling to them. And I love what Dying Wish is doing, because sometimes when it comes to, like, the classic metalcore sound and trying to modernize it, I think there's a little bit too much of the focus around kind of incorporating things that don't necessarily fit all the time, and Dying Wish doesn't seem to do that. I don't know how to quite explain what it is that they do that I love so much, but the low and slow moments are going to be another like highlight for me going back and revisiting the song. This will probably end up being my most played single. As I mentioned, the last single I have avoided, and I will until November 3rd when I listen through the album. But of what I've heard from them and the rest of their discography, this is going to be a top track for me. And each single I feel that they put out kind of leaves me with that feeling of like, it's like I know this, but it's also brand new to me. So stuff like that I've really been into, because the modern sound that I love so much, I have a ton of bands that I'm constantly finding, bands that I already love who are putting out music that do that for me, but not many bands I'm listening to that I feel the way I do about like this track and what Dying Wish is doing. Not able to do what they're doing, basically. Emma's vocals sound phenomenal. I'll be excited on the record to see the full scope of, range of vocals, and I'm really looking forward to some bigger breakdown moments like this track has. The breakdown that kind of gives you that like main character feel, I guess, for lack of a better way to describe it. In this track is also a favorite moment for me. I think having so many different favorite moments to pick out after one listen to a song is also a very large green flag for me. It has that raw feel with Dying Wish. This song, no different. There's a raw approach, there's a nostalgic approach, and then there's just something about what they're doing that gives it a very fresh, appealing, non-dated I don't want to use the word approach again, but done. My brain is done for this week. Oh yeah, and also, side note, I have been going to a ton of shows. People are asking me about album reactions and stuff. That's going to be put off till next week. I'm losing my voice because I've been to 3 shows in the last week. I've got one tonight, I've got one tomorrow, so I'm just kind of doing what I can with the channel. So just to touch on that. But anyway, to sum it up, you've got some huge riffs in this track. The section with the blast beats was also stand out for me. I think I've had a lot of focus around stuff like that since I got more into drumming and, you know, kind of absorbing a lot of my focus in that department. The section with the blast beats really stood out to me. The chorus is a huge win for me as well. You have a lot of stuff going on here that it just makes for a perfect playlist track in the departments I'm looking for a band like Dying Wish. I think if I had to pick one section to mark as my favorite on this, it probably would be that breakdown. I've talked time and time again about being a sucker for the low and slow stuff. Obviously, speaking on blast beats and loving those as well. I think the dynamic that's played between those two types of sounds is really important and serves great purpose. I enjoy a lot of the fast-paced stuff, talking about the riffs in this track, talking about, I guess when you get to more of like that classic metalcore style riffing compared to the technical stuff, which is still fast, like the, you know, era's biggest riffs and things like that. It scratches much different itches, but both sounds work for me in this case as well, though I lean towards that low and slow. Any chance I get or any context that comes up in, that tends to be what I lean towards more. The vocals on this get to an unreal point, like I mentioned, especially towards the end of the song when we're talking about the screams. The singing in the chorus is beautiful to me. It's something I feel the more I listen and I learn the words, I'll be singing along to that. It's just a very well put together song, and I think I should touch on that transition to the second chorus again, because you can feel before it kind of gives you the full scope of the transition, you can feel the chorus is coming back based off of the way the song feels, some of that melody that you can pick out of there. You can feel the chorus is coming back, but I wasn't expecting it to transition into it the way that it did, so kind of throwing me for a little bit of a loop there. I really enjoy. There's just nothing that I would really pick out that I don't enjoy about this song. I think when it comes to the classic sort of sound, there are a lot of bands that do it in a way that just doesn't really click for me, doesn't make it onto the playlist. I find it not as interesting as it could be, but Dying Wish just kind of battles that idea for me and keeps that alive. There are bands that do, and like every subgenre, we have like a shining band that's able to kind of put a breath of fresh air into something that a lot of us have enjoyed at one point in our lives. The bands that I've already mentioned in this video would be probably my top for each sort of subgenre that we tap into, and Dying Wish would definitely be up there, if not #1 for this sound in my book. I think this record, based off of what I've heard so far, will be my most listened to release from them also. It feels very polished for what they're doing. It just is clicking with me, where in the past they've had songs that land with me really well, and then on the full release there's a few that I just don't ever revisit, and I'm not sure what this will be like, but you know, I've skipped a single and all of that. This is the 4th single. I believe there are 11 tracks on the album, so there's a good amount that I'll be hearing for the first time in November. They'll probably get another single out before that comes up, which I'll try to cover. We'll see if I'm going to hold off till November 3rd, or I'll cover it to kind of shout that the album is coming out. But regardless, I'm kind of getting off topic here and just ranting at this point. I'm very stoked to hear this record. I am hoping for some more big chorus moments, low and slow stuff, but I'm not opposed to the, you know, the riffing style that's here, the stuff that's a little bit more of that classic sound I think Dying Wish does in the best possible way for my taste. So those are my thoughts on Those are my thoughts after listening to the first song. I am very stoked for this album to come out. As I mentioned, pre-orders, merch, the band's social media, promotional links, all of that will be in the description of this video, including the music video, which was very cool. I also love to see Mackie in this band. all over the place, really. When you look on his Instagram and stuff, I've seen him, you know, on stage with a ton of bands. The music video on this track is very, very cool. I think the details kind of get overlooked sometimes when it's like your first time listening to the song, taking in the music, but I really enjoyed the video as well, so make sure if you did also go drop a comment on the original video that got posted on Sharp Tone's channel. Give the band some assistance with the algorithm and all that stuff. It does help. All that being said, my link tree will also there's nothing I would want different from this. I think with this having the potential to be my favorite Dying Wish track, you know, I wouldn't want anything different from it. I'd be pulling something out of my ass. So I'm going to leave that as is. I'm very happy with this. It will go on to the playlist. I will continue looking forward to the record. Shout out to Sharp Tone for getting this over to me a bit early, even though I was not able to get a video sorted out before the release. This, as I mentioned, this week has been crazy. And I actually saw Emma from Dying Wish. I went to the Metalcore Dropouts tour last week, and she's been out on quite a bit of that tour. She comes out and does a feature with The Devil Wears Prada, which is absolutely sick. And she was side stage for Counterparts too, which I think when you listen to like the influences that Counterparts kind of taps into, some of the stuff they've done, and then you kind of pick some stuff out of this in that sort of classic sound. There are some parallels there, and I know that they're friends and stuff. I also, another shout to something cool that I saw was I watched the Downbeat podcast episode that Craig did with Emma. It's a fantastic episode. I'll actually link that in the description as well. If you have the time to watch it or throw it on, you know, while you're doing something else and listen to it, I would highly suggest doing so. It's a great episode. I love the Downbeat podcast. It's fantastic. Okay. Anyway, back to my links. Links are in the description in my link tree. I've got my Patreon, my Twitch channel, the invite link for the Discord server, which is where the community is based for my YouTube channel. We've got a bunch of music lovers in there talking about stuff related to music, stuff unrelated. Patreon, I offer a bunch of various different things all listed out in the tiers. I make playlists that I update monthly with 20 to 25 songs for tier 3. We've got voting going on for all tiers for the list that we'll end up compiling for overall Patreon's favorite releases, choruses, breakdowns, riffs, and stuff for 2023. All that good stuff is there. Twitch is where I do all my live streaming. I do request streams once a week. I've got some more streams that I'll be throwing in there that are music related also, so if you want to be notified when I go live, see what I'm doing over there on Twitch, feel free to give that Twitch channel a follow in the link tree. As always, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it.